Hello, everybody, and welcome to your UEFA C broadcast, your UEFA C introduction.
Hi, everyone. My name's Chris Matanka, and I deliver on the UEFA C license along with Lee and a couple of other colleagues. And my background is that in terms of coaching, very much grassroots, coached in that play phase all the way through up to senior adults level.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. My name's Lee Ballard. I am the lead coach developer for you for this course. I know Chris because we both work together at Plymouth Marjon University. I also do some work for the FA on the Introduction to Coaching Football course, the UEFA C, UEFA B, and work as a talent reporter as well. Have experiences around grassroots football and talent pathway football. I'm not sure whether to call it talent because some of it is dubious, but that's how it's branded, I guess. So a variety of levels. On the course, you will also meet Tash Mills. Some of you may know Tash. She is the coach development officer for the female game linked in at Marjon, and she oversees the Women's High Performance Centre. And we also have Chris McGinn, who's relocated into Devon. So he's based in Torquay, but he's lived in London for most of his life, coaching across Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham. Has many stories about players that he's coached, including players like Thierry Henry, etc., that will be shared with you on the course. But also has worked across disability football, has worked across grassroots football as well, and is currently at Exeter City with their junior Premier League football setup. What are we trying to achieve? So essentially, we've got a few things that we're trying to achieve through this course. First of all, we're trying to develop more skillful players. So that's going to be really important for all of the players that we coach. More skillful will mean something slightly different to all of you as coaches, because it might be some of you coach in those younger age groups. It might be you're coaching more experienced players. It might be you're coaching players on a talent pathway. But the context you're in may determine what we mean by more skillful players. But we want our players to be more skillful. If they're more skillful, they're likely to engage with football more. They're likely to enjoy football more. And that links us to our second aim around inspirational opportunities. If we can behave and interact in a way, if we can design practices in a way that inspire the young people that we coach to love football and play more football, then we've got them hooked for a lot longer. So we're trying to develop more skillful players. We're trying to create inspirational opportunities, and therefore we're trying to be transformational with our coaching approach. So we're trying to build high quality relationships. We're trying to provide autonomy for players. We're trying to help them become more skillful at football, but also more skillful at those wider life things that they will need. So they're the aims of the UEFA C course, and hopefully by the end, you'll be more developed across each of those than you currently are today. Recognizing that some of you may be excellent, some of them are ready, but hopefully you will progress across each of those as we go through the UEFA C course.
So the first module on that first block, the weekend that we have you, we're looking at about understanding the players, or your players specifically in your teams, and also sort of like what their game is about. And what we want you to do is sort of like analyze sort of like the group that you're currently coaching or groups you're coaching, and how can your practice design, how can it benefit the players that you are working with? Because what you've got is across the different age ranges is that there'll be at different stages of learning. And for you as a coach, is that what do your specific players need that is bespoke to them and just happen to unfold and allow that to be effective? And again, the key part about your sort of like practice design is that what type of interventions can we put in for those specific age groups? And also that will also teach you the tools about how to reflect effectively to engage with your players even more, give them more value, if you like. And then I'll hand back to Lee for that second module.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. So you finished the first module. You've got a couple of days coming up next weekend. You then have a period of time where you're away from us. And when you come back from module 2, we'll have another couple of days on the weekends, and we're going to further develop the things Chris spoke about to think more about how we can engage our players through our practice design and help them be better at football and more skillful players at football. Now, we have got a framework or a model that we use called the skill capabilities model. We will introduce that to you on the first day. It is something that you can look at before, and we'll share a link with you shortly around that. But we'll kind of hone in on that a lot more in the second module. And Chris, back to you for module 3.
Thank you. So with that module 3, on the third block that you come, we're just looking at that match day experience and what that looks like, not only for you as the coach, but how you sort of like engage the players when they're coming in, regardless of the age group. So as an example, when your younger players come in, is that you might have an arrival activity already set up, because it's match day. It might be that it's only yourself and an assistant, or some of you might be doing everything on your own. So what's really key is that how the stuff we've learned from module 1, module 2, and then bringing into 3, how can we bring that all together for that initial match day experience, but also sort of like the benefits for your players. So you'll have 6 practical face-to-face days. And again, we've discussed that previously. And then with that, on those 6 days, we will sort of like, for you individually, be able to sort of like share your experiences. There'll be lots of opportunities to coach within those 6 days. And again, to sort of like get feedback from us, feedback from your peers, and again, develop your coaching knowledge and understanding as the course unfolds. The next thing is that we got that developmental visit that we will try and embed primarily between module 2 and module 3. Again, if that doesn't fit, because we know it's covering the summer, then there's other opportunities for us to come out and do that developmental visit with you. As well as that, we have sort of like peer groups that we meet after every block and before the next block. And also we have one-to-one progress reports as well. Again, most of these have done online through Teams, etc., where we can meet you and discuss how you are progressing on your particular coaching journey throughout the UEFA C. There's time to practice away from the course. By now, you should have the dates for block 1, block 2, and block 3. And again, you'll have that coach's book, and that notebook will help you to capture the journey across the learning of the UEFA C, but also when you're away, you can make notes and you can bring it to the next block, discuss with your individual tutor. But it's a great opportunity for learning with all you guys that are on this course.
So we're just going to present it to you as a timeline or a map of what that might look like for you. Now, I emphasize might because every coach will be on a slightly different journey. As Chris said, it might be that you shut down for the summer and you don't coach. It might be personal issues. Things might change this timeline, but approximately this is what we're looking or what the timeline will look like for all of us through this course. So we're on the broadcast now, and then in May, we complete the first 2 days as module 1. We have 2 relatively intensive days. They're quite practical heavy. So please bring practical clothing. If you can't join in, that's fine. There's plenty of you on the course that we can get lots of rotation to kind of not burn us out, but be prepared to join in for practical if that's something you can do. At the end of module 1, you then break off into small peer groups. And this might be a couple of weeks later, and we have that first online conversation with an allocated coach developer. Then you have a bit more time, and then just before module 2, you'll come back together in a small peer group, probably 4 or 5 coaches maximum, where you will further discuss content and how coaching is going for you since we last spoke. We then come back together in June for module 2. At the end of module 2, we then jump back online for another peer group where we further develop our understanding and how coaching is going. We have a development visit. Ideally, we have a development visit at that point. And then we will also have a one-to-one with you, probably online, could be on the phone, where we review your progress as a coach against the assessment framework and the course framework. And then finally, we come back together in August. At the end of module 3, if everything is going well and you've demonstrated full competencies across the assessment, we then have a final one-to-one and we sign you off from the course at that point. However, if for any reason there's a development need that we need to keep working on, or if things are delayed, we can further flex that and we can provide more support or change those timelines. But that is approximately what we're working towards with you as coaches. And you will have an allocated coach developer, which could be myself, could be Chris, could be Tash Mills, could be Chris McGinn, for example. And we will start to work that out on the first day of module 1. The idea of those peer groups and those one-to-ones is that you'll be getting regular conversations with us about your progress. And if there's a development need that's a little bit below where it needs to be, that will be really clear to you through the course, not just kind of at the end as a one-off assessment decision. So your assessment is a combination of your knowledge demonstrated through the course, through your peer groups, through your one-to-ones, your practical coaching on course, your practical coaching in that development visit. And after all of that evidence, if we still haven't seen enough across that framework, we would then do some additional one-to-one work with you to help you kind of complete the course in a timely manner.